Alright, so for today's video, we're going to be going over the hand details in the form Naguru. Now, Naguru is basically a form about punching, right? Naguru roughly translates to punch in Japanese, right? So we're going to be doing a lot of punching in this form, and it's a little bit of a blend of traditional hand positioning that we've seen in some other forms like Tazabaki, right? And more modern hand positioning that's similar to like a boxing kind of setup where you have your hands high instead of chambering, right? So the first couple steps have a little bit of that transition between the traditional to the modern, right? But you'll see over time it becomes, or as you get deeper into the form, it gets closer and closer to that, just that modern hand positioning as we go throughout. So as we do this, I'm going to demonstrate it a couple times, right? Just really quick, the end position that you want to be at. Almost the entire form ends in this hand position, right? You end up with a cross out, right? You threw your cross, your other hand is up by your cheek up high like this. As I throw the cross, you can see that my chin disappears in this camera view, right? A traditional form has really great posture, right? And your shoulders are more relaxed and low. Okay, and there's some value there, but that's not what we're doing in this form. We're ducking our chin down, right? And we're protecting our jawline with our shoulder on one side and our arm on the other, right? So throughout this form, you're gonna see that we end here. Whenever we end here, those hand details repeat. Hand by your cheek or a chin bone, maybe as high as your chin, somewhere in here, okay? And this is here, and again, you can see my chin is hiding behind my shoulder as compared to this, okay? So throughout the form, when you get to that cross, say, okay, you showed me how to do this, I'm already gonna do it. So I'm gonna do this with you. What we're gonna try and do is I'm gonna do the step twice. One time mirroring, and then one time from a side view, right? As we go through the form, if you can follow along with me and do it, great, you can just progress through. If at any point you're like, hey, you know what? I watched it, I didn't feel good about it. Maybe you watch both views, right? And then pause and then try and practice by yourself, or rewind and practice by yourself, right? So form starts off with a break. It's a pretty traditional movement, okay? Now we're gonna be going to your right, right? When we do that, we're gonna set the right hand sets low, right? This is a very traditional position, right? Because we're getting ready to do a very traditional high block, right? I'm gonna cross, uncross. I have my high block here, right? My hand is coming back towards the chamber, but it doesn't stay there very long. And then I punch. And now we're in that more modern position where my chin is buried under my shoulder, my hand is up. Okay? And now we're going to go to the other side. Going to your left, you set your hands. Your left hand sets low, your right hand sets high, your palms face towards each other. You cross your feet, you uncross. You have high block, punch. Okay? And then you would come back to a fighting stance. And I'm going to show it to you from the side. When I do the side view, I'm not going to be mirroring, so I'll go to my right when I say go to your right. As compared to the front view where I won't. So, I'm going to look, I'm going to set my hands, right? You can see I have good posture. My chin's exposed right now. I cross, uncross, right? Now I'm going to do my high block, punch. And I kind of sink down into that punch, right? You can see that head disappearing. Right? We're going to go the same thing the other way. This hand that's extended is going to chamber. It's going to set low. Right? The other hand gets ready. I cross, uncross, high block, punch. And then I just turn into a fighting stance. Right? Now when I turn into a fighting stance, you're going to see throughout this form, in your fighting stance, you have your lead hand extended a little bit. It's about a right angle at your elbow. Right? So we have a defensive fighting stance where we're really close. Right? That's not what we're doing right now. We have our lead hand extended a little bit. About a right angle is the right angle. Okay? So we're going to move on to the next part of the form, which is the horse stance section, which in many ways is the hardest section of this form. Right? So we end up, you have your left leg and back, you're in your fighting stance. I'm going to jump, turn around, and I'm going to do kind of like a brush block, where my arm has a lot of curviness to it, right? It's not very linear, right? So I jump out of the way, this hand is up on my face, this hand pushes down and across my body, circles up, my hands come together, and then have like a backwards Kotegaeshi takedown, right? And again, now we're going into a traditional move. This hand is by my belly button, the hand that's kind of closest to them is out, right? I'm going to cross. I'm going to jump out of the way. I'm going to do a right hand palm heel. As I do that right hand palm heel, you can see this hand is up protecting my face, right? I circle this down towards my left hip. I bring it up so it touches my left hand. I turn, and I have my backwards Kotegaeshi takedown. Now, I want to talk about a little hand detail on the backwards Kotegaeshi takedown, and then we're going to do the side view. I want my hands to be either this way or this way, not this way. And my thumb should be roughly parallel like this, not crossing. This is good, this is bad. Okay? So we're going to do that same thing from the side view, so you can see that. I start off in my fighting stance, right? I have my left leg in back. When I jump, I'm going to do my left hand palm heel. Now, from this side, you can really see the angle of this movement. I push down and across, and then it circles up to connect up here so I can do the takedown. Okay? And that's a very fluid movement. I'm going to show it to you one more time. It just goes like that. Okay? Shouldn't be very linear at all, right? I set my hand. My right hand is by my belly button. My left hand is extended a little bit. I cross. Now I'm going to jump to the other side. Palm heel, bring it down to my my left hip, and circle up right here. Okay, and then again that traditional hand position. It's like a low edge of hand fence, except you make fists. You cross and you break. Okay, so like I mentioned before, if you need a little bit of extra time on that, feel free to pause this and do that a couple extra times. But otherwise, I'm going to keep moving. We're going to go on to the third section of the form, where we're doing a step back, hook, and a cross. So when we do this, I've already done my break. And I'm going to set my hands much closer. So before I said, hey, we don't do this guard most of the form, now we do, right? You want both hands very close to your face as you step back, and you're going to twist towards your front foot, right? So this is neutral. I twist towards my front foot. So I'm coiled up to throw a good solid hook, followed by a cross. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing the other side. My hands come up, I step back, I coil towards my front foot. So I can do that powerful hook, powerful cross. Okay, so we're going to do that one from the side. Right, so same idea, I did my break. Right, you can see my hands both come up tight. As I step back with my right foot, I twist to my left. I throw my left hook. You can see this hand is high, protecting myself. My shoulder's high. I cross. We've seen this position a couple times already, as I said. We're going to step back. We're going to twist towards our lead foot again. Turned in so we can throw a lot of power into our hook. And then throw it across. Okay, so that's pretty simple, and that's very modern hand positioning throughout that section of the form, as compared to the previous couple sections where you had to integrate a little bit of traditional into more modern. As we continue on, this next part, probably the easiest hand moves in the entire form. Okay, so we just did, let's see, got a mirror for you guys. So we just did our cross here. Okay. Now, when we spin around and we go to kneel down, all that's going to happen is the hand that's going to punch is going to come back to my face and then punch again. Right? But I'm going to turn around as I do it. So it comes into my face and punch. As I go to spin, same thing. Hands come up to my face, I spin around, and I punch. Okay? So this is probably the trickiest thing to teach because of the various perspectives involved, so it gets quite confusing. The side view I find for most people is a little bit easier. All right, so I just did my hook, cross. I'm here. You can see I have it. Very modern hand positioning. I'm going to bring this hand up as I step back with my right leg and I throw this left punch. It's just like a regular punch. And then as I go to spin, my hands come back up, nice and tight, and punch. And now I'm going to tuck and stand up into a normal fighting stance. And you can see my arms extended again. Okay? So that's the fourth section. You've got the spin, or you drop to your knee and punch, spin knee punch, and then stand up. If you need to practice that a couple times, go ahead. Otherwise, we're going to keep moving. So, here we go. We just stood up. we all have our right leg in front. We're in our fighting stance. We have our right leg in front, right? All we're going to do now is we're going to jab, cross, reset, switch. Now, when we switch our legs, our hands kind of switch positions. So before I had my right hand forward, now I got my left hand forward. Jab, cross, reset, switch positions, right? And then when you go to roll, you just do your roll. One little fun fact, if you don't roll on the side you end up on, you shouldn't do that second switch, right? You should skip that and just end up on the side that you normally roll on. So from here, if I have my right leg in front, roll and get up and break, okay? Let's do that one from the side, right? I'm in my fighting stance. I've stood up, I have my right leg in front. You can see my right hand is distinctly in front of my left hand because my left hand is high and tight. My right hand is out ready to parry. I'm going to jab, cross. You can see this position. We've seen it a few times in the form. We reset. When we switch our legs, my hands switch positions in the midst of that. When my feet come together, my hands switch places, right? So when my feet switch, my hands switch places just like that. Now I'm going to do my jab cross. 1, 2. Then a reset. And again, if you normally roll lefty, don't do this next switch. If you roll righty, you do your switch, and you do your roll. And you do your break. Little detail on hand position on the break. For those of you who don't know or don't remember, when I break, my arms come out, they come up, they cross above my head, and they come down, okay? And when they end up down, they're almost perfectly straight. You can see this is straight, this is where they end up, okay? So those are all the hand positions for Naguru, right? Hopefully you've got it, you follow along. If not, you can always rewind, go back to the spot that works for you. I'm gonna play the form a few times for you to look at, and maybe you wanna try and follow along, think about those details as you practice it 3 times, but that's basically how you do the hand details on Naguru.